Credit cards part 3. So I'm just sitting here and like I'm using my U.S. Bank currently, U.S. Bank credit card, and then we use it for every purchase. Every purchase. Anybody tells you can't use it for every purchase and it's going to cost you, and the devil's going to come and get you. You need to just smile and nod and walk away quickly. I've been doing this for decades, and I've said this numerous times over numerous videos and numerous comments online under multiple posting accounts on YouTube and elsewhere, and it's just a fact. If the devil was out to get me, if the banks were going to get me, they would have already got me. You don't think after decades of doing this that I would have been like, this is not a good idea. One of these financial advisors, and let me just go off on some other tangent here. One of these financial advisors are like, they're against investing in gold. Oh, gold is stupid. That's the dumbest damn thing I've ever heard. Have you looked at the gold spot prices? Have you looked at the charts, the historical prices? Gold is actually doing, it's irritating to me because I don't like it. I like a metal to fluctuate. I don't like it when they hold out against inflation. I don't like it when they perform, as they call it, because that means they keep going up in price and they don't come back down. And I like that up and down because that up and down is the buy low, sell high thing that I enjoy that makes me money. When they don't do that, I can't make no money on it, which is why I don't like gold. But if you're saying you want gold to hold value, right now, if you look at the historical charts, it's done just that. I was buying gold back in the 90s for 300 and something an ounce, and it's $2,000 an ounce now. It has held out against inflation in spectacular fashion. And again, it's irritating to me because I don't use it like that. I use it more like a commodity. I don't want it holding out against inflation. But to get around that, I also invest in silver and platinum and palladium and some rhodium. And I use those metals to do the commodity type thing. But somebody would tell you, don't invest in silver, don't invest in gold because they're stupid. How are they stupid? Gold is actually holding out. So if you wanted to buy your gold and you wanted to just hold on to it and hold it out and have it hold its value, it's doing a pretty damn good job of that. If you wanted to buy a metal that is bouncing all over the place, like say a stock would, so that you can buy low and sell high, well, you've got the other metals like silver, platinum, palladium, rhodium, whatever, that do that. And trust me, rhodium, the killing I made on that is just devastating. It was a thing of beauty, and it was a complete fluke. Nothing to do with my intelligence. It just was an accident, but it happened. So you get these financial investors who will tell you to stay away from credit cards or stay away from credit. Instead, don't worry about your FICO, you don't need credit. Well, yeah, tell that to the guy you're trying to buy the car from and you don't have the cash to buy it in cash, which most of you poor folk don't have. So if you're listening to certain sorts telling you, don't worry about your FICO credit, you know what you're going to do in the end. You're going to need to get a car. You're not going to have good credit, or you're not going to have any credit at all. And because you listen to this chump, or these chumps, you're going to end up paying a higher interest rate because you're going to have to go to a buy here, pay here, because there's no lender going to give you any money without a credit rating or with bad credit. So you're going to end up paying more for your car because you listen to this so-called financial advisor instead of what you could have got it for. Had you worked your credit up, had you been using a credit card every purchase like I do, and you paid it off 3, 4, 5 payments a month or once a month, just never let a balance carry over, or not much, kept them seeing that, oh, wow, this guy pays his bills. He pays his bills on time every month, and he's just such a good customer. Let's loan this guy some money for a car at a low interest rate so his payments aren't going to be very high, and so he's not getting assaulted by the APR. Now, when someone tells you not to worry about your credit score, that's what they're doing. They're setting you up for failure because you ain't going to have the cash to buy everything you need to buy in life. A car, a house. When somebody tells you not to invest in gold or silver, that would be my indication to run in the other direction about as fast as possible. Those have been money since the dawn of mankind. And since money has been money, it's been gold and silver. So somebody telling you that, oh, don't buy that, don't have that, that almost seems like a mental condition to me. Like somebody has just decided they don't like it and therefore they're going to try to they're going to try to enforce that stupid ideology onto everybody else just because they said it. It's kind of like the people they say where they say something stupid, but they think they said something smart. And so because they said anything at all, they have to kind of uphold the idea that what they said was intelligent. I've got friends like that. They say something that's just totally moronic. And then the one friend has been doing it for 40 years. The same damn moronic statement for 40 freaking years. And I have showed him for 40 years how stupid it is, and he still doesn't get it. So at a point, you just got to walk the other way. And that's what you've got to do with some of these people calling themselves financial advisors. Some of these people have been sued for $150 million because of what somebody felt was fraud. Some of them have been sued because of their beliefs. Maybe abusing people, maybe breaking the law as far as like employee laws go, you know what I'm saying? And it gets real hard to take that sort seriously. So I'm looking at my, I flipped open my phone and I do this every day. I do this multiple times a day actually. So I'm using US Bank, which is where I started this video. Opening up the application on my phone and I'm looking at, okay, what have I spent here in the last little bit? Okay, so boom, 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 boom. Where are we at? What do we owe right now on this card? I think I owe it $300 and I just paid off, I just paid a $2,300 payment and I paid a payment before that this month. I've paid multiple payments this month. I charge it up, I charge it up and we pay it off, you know, that kind of thing. And here's the thing with that. So I opened up the app and I'm looking at it and I'm seeing what our charges were. Is there anything in there that I don't like? Anything in there suspicious? Anything in there that, well, maybe we didn't need to buy? You know what I wasn't doing when I wasn't doing that kind of thing? When I was using cash. When I was using cash, I know that, well, the money's spent. It's gone. I can't do anything about it. You know what I mean? It's gone. I don't even have the receipt anymore. I'm not going through my receipts daily. When I was using cash, I wasn't keeping the receipts on hand and going through them all the time thinking, oh, what did I buy? What did I buy? When I use a credit card, I can do that. I mean, it's literally right at my fingertips. Every purchase I make, everything that comes through, everything that's bought, all I got to do is get right on the app for the card there and see everything I've done. So I've got right at my fingertips, I have got the ability to see, oh, am I wasting too much money on this or wasting too much money on that? I remember having a discussion with my wife, and I may have mentioned this before. We were eating too much sushi. We were going out for sushi, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a month. And that stuff's not cheap. And it's not that we don't have the ability to afford it. Obviously, we were paying our bills and doing okay. It's the idea that you don't really need sushi that much. And so I told her, I said, do you realize how much money we spent on sushi this month? And so I would show her the number and she would just like stand there with her jaw hanging open. And so you know what we did? Now we only go for sushi 2 or 3 times in a month. When I was paying cash, I wasn't paying any attention to that. We were paying cash, the cash is gone, why think about it now? When I've got this credit card statement staring me in the face, saying, hey, you spent this much money, you spent $600 on sushi this month. And you can say, well, you know what, that's $400, $450 would be better off in the bank. That's $450 we could have put in silver and gold. That's $400 that could be somewhere. Better than in sushi that ended up in the commode, you know. And it wouldn't be such a problem except for sushi, depending on where you go. Where we were living at, it was pretty expensive. I mean, we go out for sushi and it could be $100 for the two of us. And okay, so you're multiplying that by 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in a month. And it's not always $100, it can be that high, but it's somewhere between $60 and $100 per trip. And so you do the math. Somewhere between $600 to $1,000. I mean, it could have been that high. It's just like when I was golfing. I was golfing a lot, and I'm spending all this money on golf. I'm going golfing, and it's $60, and I go golfing the next day, and it's $60, and it's going golfing the next day. And you know what I did? I'm like, holy hell! Look at this statement. Look how much money I spent. $3,000 on golf when I checked it at one point. You know what I did? I went over to the golf course, and I got myself a yearly membership, $1,200. $1,200 for the whole year instead of $3,000 over a very short period of time over the summer. And now there were some restrictions to that. You couldn't come in alone. Like I couldn't go golfing alone unless it was like the end of the day. No. I'm sorry. That's not the way it worked. I couldn't make a tee time. I could not make a solo tee time. I had to be in a group. And if I wanted to go alone, I had to just show up, and then they would let me out at the first available point. But I couldn't get online, or I couldn't call them and say, hey, I want to make a tee time. That was a restriction. I'm sorry. It's been 10 years since I even had that. But my point is that I noticed the money that was spent because if I had been paying cash for all that, the money would have been there, it would have been gone. I wouldn't have been thinking about it other than where the hell did all the money go this month? But because I have a statement, because I use a credit card, I can see every freaking purchase I make, and now I can go through and nitpick every detail of it and say, okay, right here, this is where we spent the money. This is where I spent the money. This is where you spent the money. We need to we need to rein this in. It's not a reason to use a credit card. Not a reason you have to use a credit card. You can do it otherwise, but what I'm saying is I just realized when I was browsing, I flipped over and I opened my phone, and the first thing I do is go to my credit card, and I'm like, wow, that is convenient as hell. I can actually go through and keep track of where I'm spending my money at just on a whim at any time I want. The other thing is these alerts. I've got my phone set up for alerts. If $1 gets spent, more than $1 gets spent on the credit card, it sends me a text alert. And I don't think it sends an email. I think I got it set up just to send a text alert. So my wife is she's at work. She's on her lunch break. She goes over to the cafeteria and she spends $3. Boom, I get an alert. I go buy gas. Boom, I get an alert. I stop at Wendy's. I get an alert. And that's another thing that's kind of nice, because when you see those alerts coming up all the time, it also is a reminder, hey, you're spending money? Now, I don't get that when I get cash or when I spend cash. I don't get this alert saying, hey, hello, you're spending money. And I joke with my wife sometimes when she spends something, or I see that alert come up, I'm like, somebody's spending my hard-earned money. It's kind of a running joke between the two of us when I say that, because we're actually keeping tabs on what we spend now. We didn't do that when we were spending cash. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. When you hear rich people tell you not to use credit cards, you got to stop listening to them. Just learn to control your spending if you can. If you can't, get some psychological help. Get some therapy, psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever you need to do, because you need to get yourself under control more than just your spending, most likely. Credit cards are not the devil. The banks are they're not out to get you. They can't beat you. If anything, you are a threat to them, because all you got to do is take out a house loan or some other loan and default on it. And then now they got to go through all the hassle of it. They don't want that. They don't want you to default on your car. They don't want you to default on your loan. They want you to get it, and they want to pay it. And it's up to you to have a good credit score so that you get a good APR. Stop listening to rich men living in their rich worlds telling you as a poor man how you need to live your life.